Timmy is sending me a message. I'm just gonna start calling him Timmy. I'm sorry.
Anyway, here we go. We're into the picks and bans. Let's see what we get. Obviously, Saga has opted to be the red team yet again. Who knows? Maybe the purple side is just that much more fabulous.
Who knows? Or it could just be that they don't care, and generally people do, for some reason, like to fight over who is gonna get purple and blue side for top seed. No, you get out of here, Azaraki, right now. Bye, Azaraki.
I'll miss you.
Anyways, we got Singe being banned out immediately. No real questions why that happened. We saw him a couple games ago just be an absolute powerhouse in this tournament and do quite a bit in the favor of the purple team. And then for the purple team, Thresh being banned out, he recently sustained some nerfs where the passive on his Q was moved to his E in hopes that Riot would see some more diverse play with him as opposed to just the very static builds of leveling up his Q first. So that is off the board, and then Shen being taken out. Nobody likes that global control. And who is messaging me?
I don't know. I don't know at all. However, we see the Thresh ban coming out. Pretty standard nowadays. Of course, has been since he came out. Who knows? I don't know much about the team that we're going, or that the blue team is, so I don't know if anything's going to be a targeted ban. However, Twisted Fate is a very safe gold level ban, so who knows? Oh god. What the hell is this?
Sorry, somebody had some relevant tournament questions for me, so I had to go ahead and tab out for a minute. But it looks like we have the Twisted Fate ban coming out, followed by the Hecarim ban. Hecarim, a great ban. You know, we talked a lot about the TDTV team really liking to run that pony, that AoE fear, the early gank, so late game scaling, all really potent. So taking him off the board, not a bad idea at all. We could see the global control champions coming out from Shen and Twisted Fate being taken off the board. Nobody really wanting to deal with them on either end. And then the last ban coming out is Lee Sin, interestingly enough.
Range, tanky, melee, DPS,
oh
assassin.
God, you had to do it, didn't you?
Of course.
Figures.
Incaecus monacus.
No, that is a good song though. I laugh every time I listen to it.
I love watching it.
Yeah, so we got Lee Sin taken out, most likely a targeted ban as opposed to anything else. Not too standard of a ban like the Thresh and the Twisted Fate are, so they're likely just trying to target champions to go ahead and make it easier for them come this picking and ban phase. And now we're into the first couple picks of the game, so let's hope it goes somewhere. And oh, who is still messaging me?
Looks like we're going to see a Jarvan pickup. Alrighty. Now, we've actually seen Jarvans in top lane. We've seen Jarvans in jungle, predominantly in the jungle, though. So, that might be their jungle pick. But we also see a Zac being picked up. Again, I see him more in the jungle than anything. But he really can't go anywhere. He's a health-based champion. They really have no true role.
Yep, and now, I totally have to go back to typing this, but we have the Zac and the potential Sona pick coming out. Sona, as we've stated, has been a stable champion on the part of the purple team. Those crescendos last game, very hit and miss. We'll have to see if we can go ahead and actually get those under wraps this time and hopefully produce, you know, some more consistent ultimates coming out from Sona.
Absolutely. We're going to see... Actually, they've played Sona in every single game. I'm surprised it's not been a targeted ban just yet. And we're going to go ahead and see Leona be a counter pick to the support. Definitely going to be an aggressive bot lane. No, we might see a Lulu instead. Maybe a repeat. Nope. Alright, I'm shorter. I give up. Thank you. There we go. What?
Yeah, welcome to Ace. He's a bit of a butt like that, so...
Oh no, he sat at Draven. It's now Shoopuf doing it back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Anyways, this Zac pick coming out as well, so very crowd control oriented jungler being picked up on the part of the purple team yet again. This is really what they favor, and to be honest, I mean, crowd control junglers are probably my favorite. Sejuani, Trundle, Zac, Jarvan, you know, Mumu and Malphite, even though Mumu's really fallen fallen off. So any kind of champion like that can provide a lot of AoE to the team is absolutely fantastic. And I really like that they went ahead and picked up Zac for this particular team comp. So for the blue team, we have Draven and Lulu coming out for the potential bot lane. This is really scary for Sona. She's got very little health at the early game, and we didn't see Saga really invest into too much bulk in the early game when we took a look at those runes in the last one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for if they're going to continue with that magic pen or potentially go for something bulkier, as unfortunately Draven will pretty much be able to 3-shot a Sona.
Only 3-shot? That doesn't sound powerful enough.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. And next but not least, we have the final, or 2 more picks coming up on the part of the purple team. They're just switching back and forth, and we have the Lux pick definitely locked in now. Now, this is something interesting to note. Lux is going to be great for having those pickoffs onto Draven. It is an absolutely phenomenal pickup to go ahead and go in there. And if you've got the poke down, you've got a light binding, a full combo coming out from Lux will melt any AD carry. So a fantastic pick to go in there and ruin Draven's day. So a very nice pick, as well as being a safe mid lane, is going to go ahead and give Envy some free reign there. And Dooley picking up Caitlyn, interestingly enough, so really going to go for that pokey farm heavy lane. A great pickup against Draven. Dooley really coming to light as like one of the star players of the TDTV team.
And speaking of mid players, it looks like we're going to go ahead and see Diana possibly be their mid laner, or even Zed. They're interchangeable mid and top lane, so depending on what Matsu decides to play in the top lane, whether it's going to be a switch or his actual pick, will decide on who's going mid between Diana or Zed.
Yeah, I would say more so that we'd see Diana going mid and Zed going top, mostly because Diana's going to do better mid going up against Lux, though come level 6 she's going to have the assassin potential to go ahead and hopefully take care of Lux as long as she doesn't get caught out in a full combo. Zed, however, we've seen him, even though he recently sustained a little bit of changes to his kit, he's still an incredibly powerful champion, and he's going to be somebody that's going to be able to get into the back line, latch right onto Caitlyn, and do a lot of damage, and that is very scary potential. Meanwhile, the purple team, it looks like they're hovering over a double AP comp right now, bringing out that Vladimir yet again. We'll have to see what gets locked in, but yes, it looks like this is going to be exactly what they're going for. Double AP comp, bringing that Vladimir for some extra damage. We saw how potent it was the last couple of games, so let's see if they can go ahead and pull off another win with this comp.
And the only real difference is it's no longer Morgana. It's no longer a Varus, and it's no longer a Hecarim. So you have, I guess, 2 staples of your AoE comp with complementary other champions.
Yeah, I mean, Lux and Zac and Caitlyn as a combination into a pseudo AoE comp isn't bad at all. Zac is going to be able to provide a lot of crowd control, and the AoE damage that Piltover, Peacemaker, as well as Caitlyn will be able to put out are going to be great for her team. And of course, if Zac can go ahead and get off some good disruption with Sona, Lux is just going to be able to run wild in terms of damage. So it'll be interesting to see really how these team fights line up, but more than that, I'm interested to see how all the laning phases will go. And the one added bonus to that is something that I can talk about now that the summoner spells are available. So we've got a teleporting Lux. So last time we saw teleport coming out from Lux to go ahead and play that Morgana, just get in there, cause a lot of disruption. Lux is even scarier than Morgana in this aspect because she's going to have so much pick-off potential.
Absolutely. She has so much. She might as well be an assassin with how much range she has between her spells, how low the cooldowns are on everything, and just how much damage they do. She has such a high burst potential, it's actually scary just thinking about it.
Yeah, now she recently sustained a nerf to go ahead and deal with the cooldown on her ultimate, so you can't get it to a 22-second cooldown anymore with max CDR, but you can still get it pretty low. It's not just that though. Come level 6, that roaming from Lux or those teleporting ganks are going to be absolutely devastating. Even if she doesn't manage to go ahead and catch somebody out by coming into teleport and can't get right into the fight, even if she's far away, her ultimate has enough range on it that she's most likely going to be able to get a decent snipe off. So we're 156, or I'm sorry, I just tried to read numbers instead of trying to read times because
nice.
I'm smart and my brain is fine. functioning. We've got about a minute and a half till this freaking spectator delay, because it has already been a long day and it's only 6 o'clock, go off to figure out who is going to be going up in the finals against, let's see here, Easy Bots. That's apparently who won the other semifinal game, so really excited to see how this will do. I would be lying if I said I wasn't rooting for the TowerDiveTV team to go ahead and win this one. You know, we haven't signed them on yet, but they're all really eager and willing to work. They want to come on and work for us, and we want to make sure that they can go ahead and win tournaments like this before sending them into anything big. They had an Alienware win under their belt that they recently got this week and are very strong as a collective, so I'm interested to see if they can go ahead and pull this out of their hat and essentially get them formally on with us so we can go ahead and start getting them into larger tournaments and competing for a spot in LCS.
Wait, you want the Tower Dive team to win? How biased of you.
I know, right? I'm terrible.
Terrible.
This isn't a tournament that I would normally put our team in, just because, you know, we want to keep it all on an even level, just like Lunette's Thugs, as people like to call the various teams that sign up, generally aren't participating in the tournaments anymore because they want to give other people a chance to win. So this is essentially just a week trial for them. They'll be moving on to other tournaments to go ahead and essentially stomp them and steal their prize money like the thugs and the brutes these guys are.
Very nice. So eloquently said.
Well, I mean,
big words.
What fun is it running your own tournament company if you can't hire on a professional team to go and stomp your competitors' tournaments and take their money? And as Iraqi, that's what they're doing tomorrow. So I wasn't gonna say those exact words, but that's what they're doing tomorrow. So there's that.
Wow.
Yep.
Alright, we are getting into the loading screen for the Border Wars and banners, assuming anybody had a banner. Shame on these guys not being honorable.
I know, right?
However, let's get to the business. No Zinzal here. We have 2 diamonds, 2 platinums, and a gold versus 2 diamonds, 2 platinums, and a gold. Shocking.
Wow, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
However, it is 2 skins. I didn't even see Shockblade there. He just doesn't exist. He's blending in the shadows like Braun. So what happens is we have 2 skins versus 4. So, oh no, Meister doesn't have a skin for Zach. Shame. Yeah,
and that is Team 4 skin playing for TowerDiveTV today, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a pokey potatoes that begin to power through and hopefully get us into this game as quickly as possible. I'm just interested to see how this early game is going to go down, just because, I mean, both teams aren't really teams that come to their full potential until they really get towards the late game. Draven, while he can do some decent damage in the early game, is going to do the best once he gets his ultimate and can essentially pump out damage after damage after damage and really have that chase potential on anybody trying to get away from him. Zed, once he gets his ultimate, can full combo down an 80 carry fairly easily. Diana doesn't get assassin potential until she hits level 6. Lulu's only going to have the saves then, and Jarvan won't have the maximum amount of crowd control he needs until level 6. The same thing kind of goes for Zac and Sona as well. Caitlyn is going to have better chase and pick off potential once she hits 6, and then of course Vladimir doesn't hit his peak till about level 12. So there are a lot of problems here. Both teams are going to be very dependent on their mid and late game. Nobody really coming to light as any early game favorite, simply because it's going to take a while for either of them to really get started. So we're going to go ahead and pause this music and start to line up champions for you guys.
Alright, got beat to it. However, something I want to note, when you say Jarvan's max potential for CC, let's go ahead and look at the purple team's different ways of getting out. We have Zac, who can bounce his way out either with his ultimate or his slingshot. We have Caitlyn with her 90 caliber net. You have Vladimir with a pool. You have Sona with a crescendo. They have so many ways of shutting people down inside that cataclysm that it honestly doesn't even matter if you have it or not.
Yeah, and we can see the invade here. Draven forced to go out now. Just you can see the power cord going down on him, taking out a nice chunk of damage. Just going in to place down that ward. They want the potential to go ahead and not only counter jungle, but invade, which is something really nice, you know. The red team, our team, Team TowerDiveTV, and I need to go ahead and actually change the abbreviations. once I figure out, oh, that is not what I wanted.
That was rude, sad face.
Yeah, hang on one
Good
second.
job, Draven. So as we're seeing pings going down onto the wall, saying, "Hey, you should probably start here." And now you're seeing pings at the double golems. Now you're seeing pings everywhere. Okay, got it. Oh, I swear they can hear me.
Yeah, GG VPN. Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get this overlay updated really quick. Let's go ahead and see where this one is. That's not it. This is it. And here we go.
Now we actually see the red team sharing the jungle. We had an early start for Caitlyn and Sona, who went ahead and took the wolves from Zac, of course, probably with the permission of it, to counter the blue team doing the double golems to start with. So they're going to both get that early level 2, but they're also coming in the lane pretty damaged. However, it doesn't seem to phase Sona as she is going right in and doing her job of poking people down. Meanwhile, we have Diana in the top lane versus Vladimir rather than in the mid lane.
Yeah, Diana's decided to go top and Zed mid. Not a bad pickup overall, but I guess you were right about that one. You could see Diana trying to come in here and get a little bit of damage down, but also protect herself from the early poke that Vladimir is going to be putting out. The mid lane, however, I mean, this Zed is just getting poked and hammered continuously by Lux, which is going to be really problematic for him if he can't get down that early poke to go ahead and get that quick level 6 kill.
And not only that, but speaking of Lux, she went ahead and picked that cloth armor at the very start. So I have a feeling Envy knew they were going against Acromed.
Yeah, and that could absolutely be the case. Now in the bot lane, we see that early gank coming out from Sona. The exhaust has gone down, and that will be first blood. Unfortunate, but the detriment of running Sona is really seen here. She's just so squishy. She doesn't have those escape mechanisms. Her base speed is fairly low. She doesn't have really any potential to go ahead and get in or out of fights easily like that. So she's just forced to sit there and take the hits, and you can see the Piltover Peacemaker coming down onto Shorter is going to take him down very low and hopefully zone him out for the part of the red team.
And that's what's going to be needed. Sona got a little aggressive with the warding and wanted to ward the Tri-Brush to make sure there was going to be no ganks coming from the river of Jarvan, since he does have that great gank potential with the Flag and Drag. However, Jarvan just happened to be in that bush ready to go, and it turned out so poorly for them.
Flag and Drag is a great name for that, by the way. You can see in the mid lane a lot of poke going down onto Lux right now. She's having a little bit of problems dealing with it, but luckily in the bot lane, Sona is back. You know, she's got her ward, she's got her potions. Hopefully we'll be in a better spot now and just be able to continue to poke down the enemy team. Jarvan, though, sitting pretty with that first blood is going to give him quite the advantage.
Now, we actually see Vlad starting differently. He has a rejuvenation bead, as well as starting a lot of potions. So, what do you actually see with this rejuvenation bead? What do you think would be best? There are so many possibilities I couldn't even take a guess myself.
Vladimir is essentially playing for the late game right now. He's not looking to do anything much in the early game. He knows he's going up against a Diana. He knows he has the bulk to essentially deal with her once she hits level 6, and that he's going to be able to scale a bit close to what she is, minus, I'd say, the immediate level 6 where she's going to have that assassination potential. So, you know, he's just playing it really safe. He wants to go ahead and play right for the late game. You can see in the mid lane a potential gank going down, but it looks like Jarvan is just going to waste a little bit of time here and go back into his jungle.
Meanwhile, Zac looks to be setting up, and we might see a little bit of an engagement inside the jungle. There are pings going down saying, hey, we need to make this play happen. However, we are going to see Sona come up. What are we going to make of this? Nothing except a ward.
Yeah, Sona's only going to sit there. She's only going to ward. She doesn't want to get caught out by that Jarvan again. She wants to go ahead and make this lane phase as easy as possible so Caitlyn can just go ahead and get farmed up for the late game, and that they can go ahead and poke out this Draven and Lulu combo to keep them from farming as well as they could be. You see Draven fairly well pinned under his turret, but the CS is pretty close, and he's actually going to manage to pull ahead here come the next wave, because Caitlyn won't be here to respond, but actually looks, instead of taking the opportunity to get this lead in CS, he's going to go ahead and back so he has the health to deal with this next confrontation with Kate. In the meantime, Jarvan and Zach just returning to their jungle, and mid lanes both returning to go ahead, and it looks like just push things out. I can totally talk.
Now we have Lux with their Seeker's Arm Guard, a very good play, especially against the team comp of the blue team. Jarvan is AD. Diana actually relies on auto attacks just a little bit because of her passive, and then you have Zed, who's nothing but AD, and Draven, that is nothing but AD. So even if it does not get turned into anything else in a rushed fashion, it is still a great item to have.
Yeah, she's essentially looking to deal with Zed's ultimate more than anything, and this is something really, really tricky. Zed's ultimate is essentially has a delayed period before it ticks off, kind of like Vladimir's ultimate. So she's going to have to time up the Zhonya's, if she builds one, to essentially proc just at the right time so she doesn't have to deal with that damage. She's got to be really careful about it, or else she's going to end up wasting it on a chunk of damage that in the long run isn't going to do nearly as much. So that'll be something interesting to see. She's building very smart right now, going for, you know, a little bit of tank, a little bit of AP, and finding anything she can to deal with this mid lane. Now in the top lane we can see the dive under the turret, Diana getting ignited, and there's the flash going out, and oh no, the clutch Q will manage to pick up Vladimir. It is now 2-0 at 7 minutes and 40 seconds into the game.
This is starting to look very familiar.
Yeah, it's starting to look really close to last game. Hopefully, though, they're able to turn this around as they were last game coming up. But it looks like Jarvan's actually just going to go ahead and dive. You can see the barrier being popped out, and there goes the teleport. And there we go. There's a snare down, and oh no, it's going to miss. But luckily, Zach is here, and he will actually manage to pick up the kill. But it looked like, unfortunately, Jarvan managed to pick up Sona there. So a nice teleport picking them up a kill, and a nice chunk of damage coming out from Caitlyn, essentially forcing the blue team back as far as possible so that they don't have to deal with them. And now blue buff being donated to Lux.
Thank you for your donation.
Yeah, no kidding. You can see Caitlyn being forced back here. She's going to get fairly low. Unfortunately, 2 versus 1, even if you are that low, she's just not going to be able to do too much. And there's the flash there, and the counter flash being burned by Caitlyn. Maybe a little bit of overextending there, as she's forced to back off with hardly any health left after that bleed effect from Draven's crit.
However, we might see a Zach slingshot over here with the Sona bait to maybe pick off these 2 people if they stay in the bottom lane too long. However, I'm not sure they will actually fall for it, as we're seeing Draven regain his life at a pretty decent rate thanks to that Vamp Scepter.
Yeah, you can see in the mid lane we've got the full combo going down on to Lux. She's forced to flash back and now retreat under 2 different turrets here. She's going to get very low, but managed to actually survive this gank that happened. Now, she has her ultimate back up, but it looks like Jarvan is here as well, and this is a scary situation right now. As we go ahead and look at Lux, she's going to go ahead and return to lane. Jarvan here, oh, is he going to come up? No, he's just going to go ahead and cover the lane for Zed, who's gone ahead and backed.
Absolutely, and we see Zach sitting around ready to go. Just Lux doing everything they can to bait out this fight, because once Jarvan pulls himself into his flag, he has no more escape. He's done.
And yes, for the questions being asked, the red team is the TDTV team. We saw them absolutely stomp this tournament so far, so we're trying to see if they can go ahead and take us all the way to the finals, and then be bumped up to some other tournaments, and hopefully become an LCS team here fairly soon. They're actually doing quite well for themselves, so hopefully you guys will be able to see them on all those big screens. And now Jarvan coming up, using his ultimate, immediately burning a flash and then backing off. Nice for Jarvan, though unfortunate that he didn't get to get that kill, but nice for Sona as well. She's not dead, and Jarvan managed to burn a flash.
I guess that means his smite was down too.
Aw, poor Sona. She's not a minion. I mean, she's close, but
she's a very pretty minion.
Yeah, she's a very pretty minion. For those of you that don't know, Sona starts with a little more health than a couple of the, I think it's the melee minions in the start of the game.
She has less health than the melee minions, less armor, and less MR than any melee minion.
Yeah, she's exceptionally squishy in the early game and totally overstepping her bounds right now. Even though she doesn't have vision here, you know, it's very detrimental. You can see them going in now, and they're just going to immediately be able to eliminate her. You know, Sona, she's playing really aggressively. You know, she's got this armor pen right now, but this is not a lane she has a liberty to play aggressive against.
No, not at all. And it's actually going to continue to drag the bottom lane into the deficit they're actually in because of these 3 deaths. It is not letting Caitlyn get too far ahead. While she is ahead in farm, that 1 kill on Draven is a bloodthirster to her Vamp Scepter and boots.
Yep, and as pointed out in the chat, so there's no confusion here. Insignia is the main starting roster for this team. Saga is just a sub. They're actually going to be undergoing name changes here soon to have the TDTV name in front of all of their player names, so there's no problems there.
Yes, they were once Insanity Gaming, and I kind of like the Clan Tag Saga. Maybe we should just keep it that way.
No, they gotta be awesome. They gotta be TowerDiveTV. Don't be like that.
They are awesome. Are you watching them play?
I am watching them play, but you make me sad. So sad. TowerDiveTV, awesome team. And here we go with the Lux ultimate being fired out, doing quite a bit of damage. It looks like she's actually going to decide to stay around, which is very dangerous as Zed now has his ult up and is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. First, the Lux, who has no mana. And here we go for the dive down in bot lane. Zed coming in, and a nice crescendo will go ahead and pick off this Draven. That last auto attack going to go ahead and get it, and there we go. There is the ace in the hole coming out from Dooley. Will manage to pick that up, and now they're going to go ahead and take a dragon off of this. This is exactly what we saw the last game. They went ahead and went for a nice gank on bottom, assumed some objective control, and then backed off and did it all over again. They went ahead and played things very safe and just took those advantages slowly over time.
Am I the only one that found it amusing that Ace in the Hole was used on shorter Ace?
That is pretty amusing. Also poor Lulu. Now the problem here is in the top lane, it looks like we're actually going to see a 3-man dive here. We can see the ultimate, and it's not enough to pick up anybody. Those ticks are going to go off, and that is going to be a top lane turret in exchange for the dragon. And while dragon is going to respawn, that tower is never coming back, and they're never going to be able to reassume that map control until they manage to take the enemy top tower. You can see Lux taking her advantage here and going to go ahead and press down on mid as hard as she can, as safely as she can, before deciding to finally back off.
Back off, man. That's my turret. However, Diana is sitting in that brush. Zach knows it, and we're going to see a little bit of a dive. That actually didn't work out in Diana's favor.
Yeah, Zach with his abilities, he's going to be able to get quite a bit of health back from these blobs right now, so not really too much of an issue for him. And in the bot lane, we can see Sona, again, getting down so low from this Draven. This is something we talked about earlier on, but we knew it was going to happen. Now, Lux is here too, and if they can go ahead and manage to get a good pick-up, oh my god! And there we go, Draven coming in, managing to do it, and there's the knock-up coming out from Lulu, the ultimate coming down, and Lulu will be sniped out from this. You can see the double kill going down onto Caitlyn, and now Lux being forced back under tower. A nice binding will go ahead and save her life. Holy hell. And now Zach coming in. We may see him decide to go in here. If Lux does not have the mana to stay. Zach is unfortunately going to be forced to just go ahead and defend this turret. You can see him coming down here, and he's just going to have to go into melee mode and not bothering to do anything in terms of fancy bounce over the wall.
And not only that, however, Sona was, again, just playing way too aggressive, being in that brush where she did not belong, and got picked up by the Draven ulti, almost killing her. She had to dodge it away. However, it got Draven's flash out of it, so I suppose it might be worth it in some cases, but to me, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, Sona's playing overly aggressive for everything that's happening, and as much as I hate to say this, I had to be critical of support players because I am a support player. But Sona's falling into a lot of problems here, and there's a lot of consistent problems. The power chord combos aren't coming out properly, so instead of trying to damage somebody, they're trying to poke, and you see power chord W's coming out, reducing movement speed as opposed to going for double damage. You see the crescendos coming out that have been fairly whiffed throughout this entire game. The overextending, not running any kind of bulk, especially up against a lane like Draven, a lane like Lulu, who are both going to just be trying to poke and poke and poke. It's a very rough thing to see because, I mean, they're just... And in the mid lane, there we go, we have the dive. Lulu getting down, or Lux rather, getting down low, and she will end up falling, and Vladimir following up here, and it looks like, no, unfortunately, Maestro will not manage. No, he's going to go ahead and go in here, but this is going to be unfortunate for him as he's going to get taken down to his passive. Vladimir coming in here, and there's the crescendo going down. Vladimir nearly going to fall. Draven coming in for the cleanup and over the wall. Caitlyn going for the headshot, and now Sona also going to go down here, and Zach is back up, but it will not be enough, and it looks like, oh my goodness, almost no, he is going to manage to go down as well. And here we go. Caitlyn has managed to find... Oh, no, it's not going to be enough, and that is going to be the near ace. Everybody getting down low on the part of the blue team, but it is now 12-4, and TowerDiveTV unable to pick off anybody.
It was very unfortunate for that fight. It's just... it started with a gank onto Lux in the mid, and once you took away Lux in that equation, Envy carries a lot of the damage for the team. And they were not together, and that the blue team actually was, so that's where it went into their favor. However, I believe that the red team can actually become a group again, like we've seen them do in so many different games. They can win these team fights.
Yeah, the gold difference is starting to get really detrimental, though, and more so than that, we're seeing a situation where they're slowly starting to lose map control. They don't have really any control over their own objectives right now. Dragon might be respawning soon, but it is not going to be nearly enough. You can see Sona getting caught out here, and Jarvan now being forced on the retreat. But the help of Lulu is just going to keep him nice and healthy and get him out of there without a problem. You can see the flash initiate coming out from Zach, but he's going to get so low, burst down below half health by this Draven. And in the mid lane, here we go for the dive on Lux. The ultimate is out. She can go ahead and use her own, but it will not be enough. And that dot tick, is it going to be enough to go ahead and take her out? No, it's actually already over, and looks like Lux is going to get out of there alone. And still, the overextending from Sona is going to end up getting her killed here. And a nice shield by this Lux may manage to save her, and now Zach being forced out as well. And Draven here nearly bringing down Caitlyn. Everybody from the red team getting exceptionally low.
I honestly believe, and I hate to be critical of, you know, one person, but if the Sona could have been a lot more passive, not even just the teeniest bit, I think the bot lane and the game in general would have went a lot better.
Yeah, you can see Lux coming up here now. She's in a very unfortunate position, forced to blow that Zanya's. You can see her just waiting for her cooldowns to come up, and now Vladimir in here as well. And there's the shutdown bonus before she can go ahead and take anybody out. So a nice pick off there. A lot was used to go ahead and pick that up, but hopefully getting that extra gold will make it worth it. In the meantime, this mid lane base turret being pushed in at this point. This is going to open up an inhibitor and be very rough. You can see Zach coming in here doing his best, and the ultimate not actually managing to hit anybody as it comes out from Lux, and Zed is going to get very low, but now Diana trying to come in, going for that assassination potential, and it doesn't look like she's actually going to be able to do so. She will end up falling here. Insignia, Maestro going to go ahead and take that.
Wow, the red team is getting pushed pretty hard by this blue team, and they're just letting them. They are focusing on one champion while the rest of the team is pushing objectives.
Yeah, and this is a huge thing that we're seeing right now. Is that, I mean, more than anything, the blue team, they're overstepping their boundaries. Diana going in there to try and cheese that kill onto Caitlyn, it's a really bad move on her part. Draven overextending there when that gank went in, when, you know, just not leaving, when Lux went ahead and came out with that teleport, not a smart idea. If they can go ahead and get a couple more pickoffs like this, they're not going to have a problem.
And we really hope not. We definitely want the Tower Dive team to succeed. However, when it comes down to it, the blue team is fighting better as a group.
Yeah, and now we'll have to see what happens come up the next couple team fights. Baron is up, but it's not really going to be an objective anybody's going to worry about for the next few minutes. We can see just the pink wards coming in, trying to deny vision, just in case there are any plays to be made around it. Diana picking up that blue buff and is going to return to pushing out top lane. Sorry, I had to hiccup there.
It's okay. Speaking of blue buffs, Envy with Lux now has the blue buff for their team.
And if we can go ahead and take a look at builds of the moment, we can see Zed coming out with that Blade of the Ruined King, wanting to do as much damage as he possibly can. And in the mid lane, oh, how unfortunate for Lux. She's been caught out here, and it looks like Draven is going to manage to pick up that kill. Now Vladimir duking it out with this Jarvan, as he's not able to really do anything against Draven, and Draven kind of zone out for being so low. And now here we go. That is, oh my goodness, that miss crescendo. Oh my god. Oh, that's so sad to watch. Oh man, and then Diana just coming in and taking out Zac. Vlad doing his best to defend at this point. Lulu will manage to pick up Zac, and now Vladimir forced back under his turret. They will most likely be able to pick him up here, even though Lulu is going ahead and soaking up that turret damage. Vlad is, oh my goodness, he's going to manage to kill him. Vladimir getting him out alive, and Lulu nearly going down to that Lux ultimate, and you can see the damage going down from Diana onto Lux. She's going to get very low here, and Diana will manage to pick her up.
Wow, and again, the movement speed debuff was used instead of the Hymn of Valor, and it's really starting to make me wonder, is this the same player?
I mean, it is. It's just, it's very rough to watch, you know. Sona, the power chords haven't been the best. Power chord to try and use as a mini exhaust would have worked well. The movement speed debuff, not the best pick for here. The exhaust that comes out from that power chord healing is not a bad idea at all, and the double damage wouldn't have been a bad idea either. But those crescendos that have whiffed so badly have caused so many issues. You have to understand, as a Sona player, there are times to use crescendo, and then there are times, you know, you just don't have to worry about it. You go in there, you know, you let somebody die, it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, you have to think about the team fight phase when you're really going to have to be using that ultimate against 5 people, and that's just not something that's happening. And unfortunately, we can see the red team now actually trying to go ahead and surrender. Sona getting down very low here is going to fall, but the shutdown bonus going to Zed, and now we can see the blue team trying to pick up Baron here. They're going to get it pretty much uncontested. There's no ward coverage at it on this point, so they're just going to sit here, smack it around. It's going to take them fairly low, but they're going to manage to pick this up.
Not only that, however, Zac is now in the scene, and he just now realizes, oh, they already have it, and they're on me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because of that, Zac is going to fall. So an unfortunate way to figure out that the enemy team has Baron, and they are about 12,000 gold ahead. This is a huge difference for them at this point. You know, there's up so many items right now. You can look at Caitlyn, who has an infinity edge compared to the Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, and the BF sword coming out from Draven. He's so fed right now. He's so far ahead, not only in terms of kills, but he's also got added CS, and everything that's come to him from those objectives is just making a huge difference in this game. We can actually take a look at the gold difference and see that he's got nearly 3,000 to 4,000 gold more than Caitlyn does. This makes a huge difference in the game. Caitlyn just so far behind, and Dooley unfortunately not able to put out the kind of damage that he needs to.
No, not at all. And we definitely have a lot of zoning coming out from the blue team, doing everything they can to constantly pull one person out of a fight. And that is what hurts the red team. They need every single member in a team fight in order to pull off this AoE comp. And if one person gets separated, you lose that capability.
Yeah, we haven't seen a straight-up team fight come from the red team, and that's been part of the issue here. It's been pick-off after pick-off, you know, 2 or 3 versus, you know, 2 or 3 individuals, not just a straight-up team fight. You can see Diana just going for the instantaneous pick-off. There's the ultimate coming out from Lulu, and, oh man, Zed managing to take down Caitlyn. Zed will fall, but it does not look like it's going to be enough. Jarvan here coming up, and Diana taking quite a bit of damage. Draven, that entire fight, just sat back there. It looks like Envy's actually going to fall to Diana as well, and now Vladimir in a lot of trouble, and there's a double kill for Diana, and that is going to be an inhibitor, and Zach is now left on his own to defend, and I'm not sure he can actually defend at this point.
No, Sona will be up, but it won't make much of a difference. I believe this is going to be GG.
Yeah, the GG will play. It's coming out on both teams right now. Draven actually just doing his best to try and pick up a kill on the Sona. Oh, so mean, so mean. And it looks like the Nexus is going down, even though these guys are up to try and do things. Unfortunately, Draven's just zoning them out even under the turret. And now you can see Maestro coming in, but it's not going to be enough as the blue team takes the game. The GG's coming out, TowerDiveTV losing in the semifinals of this TowerDiveTV Weekly number 28.